Hi, everybody. That time again, 4 to 5 time. Eric Chilton here with Sydney Moore and Chad Silver. We're ready to roll.
Yes, we are. Hope y'all are doing well this Tuesday afternoon.
You know what? I think today felt like the absolute perfect weather day.
Well, after yesterday.
Especially from yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say after last night.
The humidity really seems to be more comfortable.
Yeah, and we, at least as of right now, we've only made it up to 83 degrees. So it's ended up being a very comfortable day.
Yeah, it was nice seeing a lot of people out walking and things of that nature. I'm sure they appreciated getting out and about.
We'll turn the heat up a little bit, but we'll talk about that in just a minute.
All right, first we got to get to developing news. Two big stories within Alamance Burlington schools today. An assistant principal arrested, accused of sex with a student, and mold found at another elementary school.
Yeah, let's start with the criminal case in the district. The Alamance County Sheriff's Office arrested James Kelly yesterday. He's the assistant principal at Southern Alamance Middle School, and he's charged with a felony sex act with a student.
Investigators haven't released many other details, but say it did not happen on school property. Kelly has been suspended with pay. In a statement today, the district wrote, "Protecting our students is our top priority. While we must let the legal process unfold, any such allegations represent a profound breach of trust with our ABSS community."
Kelly was hired in 2011 as a teacher. He became an assistant principal at Southern High School in 2020 and worked there until June. He had recently been reassigned as an assistant principal at Southern Middle School.
The other major story within the district, mold discovered at another school, this one at Newlin Elementary.
Yeah, that's right. District leaders say all summer school students and staff have been temporarily moved to South Graham Elementary while the issue is being evaluated. Now, they say the mold appears to be similar to what they saw at Andrews Elementary. Officials say HVAC issues caused the mold to spread at Newlin Elementary. The process to restore the school is underway.
Meantime, dozens of contractors are at Andrews this week, deep cleaning the entire building and fixing the HVAC system. District leaders say they hope to have it all done by the time students and teachers return. As you can imagine, both of these stories are developing, and we will have much more tonight at 5.
Yeah, as we mentioned at the top of the show, temperatures looking pretty comfortable today. No arguments here with 83 degrees in Greensboro. Very likely 83 or 84 will probably be our high temperature today. I don't think I saw anything any warmer than that just yet, but this is the time of the day when we usually register that high. 85 in High Point, 84 in Winston-Salem. We dropped to 72 in Galax. Look up into the higher elevations. You talk about lower humidity. Temperatures can cool or warm more quickly without all that moisture in the air. When you head up to Jefferson, it's 67 degrees, and Boone at 69. Really comfortable. 64 will be our overnight low tonight. That's not bad. Mostly clear, comfortable temperature. Tomorrow, kind of the same story. Lots of sunshine. See a few clouds here or there, but 87 degrees. Now that's back within reason of where we should be for this time of the year. Normally we're in the upper 80s, so 88 is the normal high. 87 expected tomorrow, but we don't see much in the way of cloud cover across the area. You see maybe what looks to be more like we call that kind of clutter on the radar, not actual rain, until you head back toward Atlanta. Now they're seeing showers, but we could get some of the clouds from that. But the high pressure, as that moves in, I think we may see a few clouds heading into the evening, but after that we should be in good shape. Long range outlook, we're right where we should be. Thursday is really the best chance of shower activity. That's a 40% chance, but tomorrow sunny and 87. We'll drop it to the mid 80s for your Thursday, and then dry for Friday and through your weekend. 88, 89, and 90 for Friday through Sunday.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. Deputies in Forsyth County say they're investigating a murder at an apartment complex. They responded to Woodbriar Apartments in Rural Hall around 9 this morning. They say they found a man who'd been shot multiple times. Investigators haven't said anything about a suspect, but say that there is no threat to the public.
An emergency valve repair left parts of Battleground Avenue closed today. The lanes of Battleground Avenue between North Edgeworth Street and Cedar Street are expected to be closed until 5 p.m. City crews say the water has been fixed and are currently restoring the roads. They advise people who notice any discoloration to run cold water through your faucets until the water is clear.
Hundreds of workers in Randolph County are trying to figure out what to do next after their employer shut down without warning. Nearly 900 employees of Klossner Furniture Industries found out through email yesterday that the business was ending operations effective immediately. In a statement on the company's website, Klossner blamed a lender that is no longer lending it money. The business has been a staple in Asheboro since 1963 and was the 4th largest employer in Randolph County.
Well, if you need weekend plans, listen up. This Friday, downtown Thomasville will be alive with the sound of music. Local artists in the area have repurposed 10 pianos by turning them into pieces of artwork. They will debut their creations during Friday's festival. Over 25 pianists will be playing throughout the event, where folks can vote for their favorite artwork.
We are doing this project to increase downtown traffic by incorporating live music and art to create an inviting atmosphere for artists to inspire them to stay and play and shop.
Not only will there be food and shop discounts downtown, you'll have the chance to meet the Miss Thomasvilles from the past and present. Friday's event will take place from 4 to 6 p.m. in downtown Thomasville.
Out on the West Coast, insects are threatening California's wine industry. Some farmers say their vineyards are infected with a virus spread by insects. They're now getting help from NASA.
California wine growers are dealing with a devastating disease.
It's almost like wildfire out there in the vineyards and how it spreads.
Leaf roll virus is spread by insects and can make grapevines impossible to harvest.
A lot of growers are seeing that their grapes are getting kind of just stuck, and they're not able to ripen them enough to where they can sell them.
Traditionally, farmers could only spot the virus by manually inspecting leaves.
You would go out and scout and you'd look for visible symptoms.
Now, new research shows it can also be detected from the air.
Our pilots nicknamed it the wine tour.
Scientists from NASA and Cornell University are using this airplane equipped with a next-generation spectrometer to spot the disease from hundreds of feet off the ground.
This technology was initially developed by NASA to tell us what Mars is made out of.
They worked with Lodi grape growers to conduct their initial research.
Yes, we are a little quaint town, but we're really progressive when it comes to our viticulture.
The farmers even carved this message into a field, showing NASA their appreciation.
So that the pilots could see something from the air that was encouraging.
So just how effective is this new disease detection method?
Our best performing models were between 85 to 87% accuracy.
The hope is that these sensors could one day be mounted on satellites, with the data available to grape growers all across the country.
We really need these early detection tools in order to have any chance in preserving the health of our vineyards.
Oh my goodness. First of all, that sign that said thank you, NASA, that was so precious.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. But I'm glad that they stepped in to help with this tool. I mean, that is just so unfortunate to hear that that's happening with those insects.
Think about the amount of time that farmers of any crop go through to make something happen, and for an insect and a disease to wipe that's your money for the year.
Right. And this is one of those things where I wonder, how in the world did they figure out that NASA could figure this out?
Right?
I have no clue. I guess early detection for them is they can spray whatever it is they need to spray to stop it, but that's a shame.
And to see the symptoms, it just passed. But on the leaves there, or, in the crops, the black spots
Yeah, it looked
kind
like
of on
burns
there.
almost.
Right, exactly. I mean, definitely noticeable, but gosh, it's just.
And you know that
Chilling.
kind of that will just do a domino effect across the wine industry. Impacting everybody
Right.
in the country. So
Better text my wife real quick. She's not going to be happy about
price
this.
of wine's going up.
That's right. That's right. We'll be right back. well, this is an understatement, but there are lots of cute animals at the Greensboro Science Center. But there's one group that's always fascinated me. These guys back here, meerkats. I love it. The powers that be let me get up close and personal with the pack, and it's definitely what to see at the GSC. All right, so I get the luxury of being zookeeper for a day, but this makes me a little nervous. We're starting out with herpetology. Just before dinner. Just trying to help you along here. Aubrey knows what she's doing here. She's a keeper, but I mean, what is all this and why do you have a big, giant container full of crickets?
We've got several. So we use these crickets for diet, so like of our lizards and our frogs, but we also use them for enrichment. Meerkats especially. They love to chase live crickets. Yes, we'll give them a lot and they kind of scatter, so it's some natural feeding behavior for them as well.
So then we have to get them in here, right?
Yes, we do.
And does that mean by we, does that mean me?
Yes.
Okay, how do I get them
So what you can do is set this in here and then just take one of the egg crates and just knock them.
Oh, and just smack
Yep,
them in
just
there?
smack them in there.
Can it be that one or
Yep.
does it matter? All right.
Either one. And you can get quite a bit too.
Oh my gosh, look at all of them.
That should be enough.
Okay. That, no, wait, here, look at that. Yep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird to be in here with them.
So,
Cute. Do they dig all these
yes,
holes constantly?
I need to, yes, that's one thing I have to do is fill in the holes.
Really?
Yeah, so they can redig it.
The dinner is served. All right, I'm gonna watch them. Look,
They're very
he's more
curious
fascinated
about
about my feet than.
Oh yeah.
Look. Oh my gosh, look at them. I feel sorry for the ones out in the back, so I'm gonna give them some too. Nobody's over here. Here you are.
There you go. Yep. So then the crickets will start moving and then. So they do get a main diet of vegetables and fruit. They get a cat food. It's a kidney-based cat food because meerkats in captivity don't have kidney issues.
Oh.
The genetics isn't very good. And then they get insectivore, so it's basically a pelleted form of insects. The females will take care of the babies. And then they'll have some that do sentry.
So sentries are watching, just on
Yes.
like a guard?
Yes.
On watch. And
Yes.
where did you say they go?
So they go at the top of the termite mound usually is where they'll sit. But sometimes if they're all asleep on the ground, they'll have one watching while the rest are sleeping.
Thank you for letting me come in.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
This. I love this. That's side eye.
You don't happen to have any crickets left or around or
Love
anything of
that.
that?
You should have seen her. Her skin was crawling.
I
at
know,
that.
I'm looking at my skin, I'm like, oh my goodness. Ugh,
So
but interesting.
I love them because they have a hierarchy, and she said the males will challenge to see who's the king, and sometimes somebody gets knocked out and the other guy takes over, and then some are actually guards. The sentries usually stay up on the top and look out for trouble, and it's just instinct, so no trouble at the GSC, but it's instinct for them to keep guard.
Wow.
Our producer Aaron said, asking about the show, did you ever
Was it
see Meerkat Manor?
Yes.
Such a
Yes.
cool show, and I think that's where my fascination came from them. I just love the way that they're like a community.
It's the cutest thing too, because when I came in, they're used to people. So and by the way, you can't do this. They let us back. I didn't want people to think it's a keeper thing that you can pay for. When he walked in, they're so used to it. They ran up and they were starting to nibble on my shoestring, my laces on my sneakers. I was like, "What are they doing?" She goes, "Don't stand, or they'll untie your shoes. Like, don't stand in one place too long. Feed them."
They're like little monkeys,
Yeah.
just always getting in trouble.
Mischief.
I've got nothing more to add to this conversation, but I'm glad that you got out
I'll
there
bring
to
you
do
those crickets
this.
next
Please
time.
don't.
Did you get to touch them?
No,
Feel
they
what-
won't let you get
Okay.
that close, and they didn't want us to do it. Keepers usually don't,
Yeah.
unless it's a medical thing. So.
I imagine they feel a little bit like a cat, maybe. I don't know if you could tell what they looked like, they could feel like.
Yeah, they looked like they would feel kind of like, you ever seen a short-haired guinea pig? That's kind of like
Yes.
where that kind of hair,
Oh.
like, that was really coarse looking, but they were cute. Anyway, we'll take a break.
And the
Be right back.
crickets. Sorry.
Yum.
Crickets.
Sorry, Sydney.
You know, a couple weeks ago we were talking about high temperatures around 95 degrees, and we had a little stretch of it there. But if you remember before that, we were seeing a cool summer overall. In fact, it took us halfway through the summer to see a 90-degree day. So if you do a comparison here, in the average year, one full calendar year, we'll hit 90s about 37 times. We've only had it 16 times, and we're kind of missing that, or starting to get out of that window, right? We've got the rest of this month, and usually maybe we could see one toward the end of August, early September, but that's about it. So we're going to keep you posted on that. It might end up being a fairly cool summer overall. 83 degrees in the Triad right now. That is not hot. Fayetteville, though, is at 92. Wilmington, 93. All the heat pushed to the eastern parts of our state. Some cloud cover moving in tonight, a low of 64, but we'll see high temperature of 87 tomorrow. It looks really comfortable. Hour by hour, I think we see those 70s, upper 70s start to drop in around 8 o'clock tonight, and then some upper 60s by about 2 a.m. Again, that overnight low in the mid 60s tonight. So tomorrow morning, we'll feel pretty comfortable out there. You see a couple of clouds, right? That's moving in from the west to get a better picture when we go out to the wide shot here. Most of that rain should be held to the south. Now, we may see the cloud cover from it, and if you get a sprinkle in the mountains, maybe, but I really don't think we'll see much of that tonight. Again, that high pressure ridge, you can see the cold front moved through yesterday, caused a mess, didn't it? A couple tornado warnings in our area, but that will be pushed to the south courtesy of that high, and it ends up being a comfortable stretch of days coming up here. Partly cloudy for tonight, and that low of 64. Again, the high tomorrow at 87, and a decent amount of sunshine. I think most of those clouds will be pushed to the south. We look for highs to drop to 84 on Thursday. That's our best chance of late day showers, maybe even a morning shower, but 40 to 50% there. 84 on Thursday, upper 80s, close to 90 through your weekend and into the first part of next week.
It takes a special breed of person to hunt pythons, even when there's money on the line.
It's $30,000 of prizes.
If you think there are hundreds of people trekking through the South Florida swamps in a frenzy, pulling out pythons left and right, think again.
I think it's a real eye-opener for people when they come out here expecting that, and then they see they're out here for, the first 5 days and they don't see a python at all.
I rode along with Amy Siwi, also known as the Python Huntress, and her fiance Dave Roberts, on the first night of the Python Challenge. We counted 40 or so would-be hunters. For 5 hours, we stood on top of this snake deck, staring out into the dark, using lights to search for invasive snakes.
If I see a python, I yell python, and then I can jump down and run out and get it.
Like a superhero, man. A ninja. But on Friday,
you just back up for a second. I'm pretty sure this is like 90% it's a stick. That's a stick, right?
Yeah, I think that is a stick. The veteran python hunter came home empty-handed.
We didn't see anything to catch, which isn't that far-fetched because there are so many people out there, and it's not necessarily.
Shoot.
Over the weekend, hunters invaded the Everglades in Florida. They're on the prowl in the annual 10-day python hunt. The animal is invasive to the area and it's having a big impact on the environment.
Beginners and pros catch them for a chance to win a cash prize.
It takes a special breed of person to hunt pythons, even when there's money on the line.
It's $30,000 of prizes.
If you think there are hundreds of people trekking through the South Florida swamps in a frenzy, pulling out pythons left and right, think again.
I think it's a real eye-opener for people when they come out here expecting that, and then they see they're out here for, the first 5 days and they don't see a python at all.
I rode along with Amy Siwi, also known as the Python Huntress, and her fiance Dave Roberts, on the first night of the Python Challenge. We counted 40 or so would-be hunters. For 5 hours, we stood on top of this snake deck, staring out into the dark, using lights to search for invasive snakes.
So if I see a python, I yell python, and then I can jump down and run out and get it.
It's like a superhero, man. A ninja. But on Friday,
you just back up for a second. I'm pretty sure this is a, like 90% it's a stick. That's a stick, right?
I think that is a stick. The veteran python hunter came home empty-handed.
We didn't see anything to catch, which isn't that far-fetched because there are so many people out there. And it's not necessarily that other people aren't catching, it's that there's so much vibration and activity out there that the pythons just aren't coming out the way that they normally would.
Hours in the dark with little action separates the serious hunter from those in it for the money.
Hey there!
And most of those looking for cash didn't realize what they got themselves into.
It takes an average of 12 hours to catch one python.
And that can be quite discouraging.
If it's too crazy and too nutty during the challenge, then come out any other time.
Amy guarantees she'll have better luck as the number of would-be hunters thins out. There's 100 to 300,000 invasive pythons out there, and Florida needs to get rid of as many of them as it can.
Okay, so Florida's pythons hunt runs about 10 days, and last year 1,000 hunters captured 230 pythons. Wow.
No thanks. You know how you were over the crickets? That's me with that.
Yeah.
I won't be doing that.
Can they do, I might have missed this, but can they do it during the day, or is it just like a nighttime thing?
They may be nocturnal, I'm guessing.
Probably
okay,
just,
okay.
Yeah, maybe too hot during the day,
Yeah.
or maybe better hunters at night.
I've never seen someone catch a python.
No, me neither. I've had one wrapped around my neck and my body once.
Yeah.
You know, when you see like people have pythons
On the street, yeah, they'll let you. Yep, I've done that.
Over at Spooky Woods.
Oh,
I
that's
think it
right.
is, the big
Eddie
yellow
McLaurin.
python.
Yeah, he walks around with that all the time.
Yeah.
I did go out with, when I lived in Florida, I went out with an alligator hunter one time. This guy was probably like 65 years old, and when he saw the alligator, I'm not lying to you, he jumped on it, duct taped its mouth, tied its legs behind it, and put it in the back of the truck. It was the craziest thing I've ever
Like,
seen.
are you even human at that point?
Well, so let me say this, what he did. You know those things that people used to like, they twist into the ground, and back in the old days, people would chain their dogs and stuff to it. But he had a hook on this with a swivel and a piece of meat. It was a whole chicken. And the alligator bit it like a fish would get a hook.
Oh.
And then it was on a swivel because alligators spin to kill their prey. So he just waited till it stopped spinning and got tired. Then he jumped on it, took it off, and relocated it. Because in Florida,
so
you can't kill them if they're under 5 feet long. If they're over 5 feet long, then they can euthanize them, but you can't do it. So this one was huge, huge.
Well, it's a no for me, but
No.
you know, everybody loves every different thing. So,
But
you know.
cheers to the python hunters, right?
Yes.
Get them
Nice
out of
job.
here. Get them out of here.
That's perfect. We'll be right back.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. So much more to talk about in the next 30 minutes.
Yep.
Fun.
Yeah, because I mean, we talked about all different types of
Snakes
and alligators and crickets,
meerkats.
Meerkat. We got all the animals.
So maybe, we'll see what we have in store this go round in the next half hour.
And we'll also have weather coming up in a minute.
That's right. But before we get to your weather and your headlines, as you can see, I had my money green dress on. So I want to know, do you have lotto fever? The estimated Mega Millions jackpot is over $1.5 billion. Tonight's drawing is the largest in game history.
The odds of winning the jackpot are a dismal 1 in 302 million, but it's not stopping people from buying tickets.
Anytime it's over $500 million, I come in regularly. The higher it gets, the probably more regular I come in, because I'm gonna win it. So you can interview me now, and then you can interview me again after I win.
It's $1 billion. How many chances do you have in your lifetime to have a chance to play for $1 billion? And all you have to pay is $2. $2 to win $1 billion?
It is a good return on your investment if you win, that's for sure. All right, so if someone does win tonight and takes the lump sum option, they'll get a check for $783 million.
Playing the lottery isn't just about becoming rich. In North Carolina, that money goes back to schools. Here's how it shakes out. For every $2 spent on a lottery ticket through the North Carolina Educational Lottery, the state says about 60 cents will end up going to schools. That's what's left over after prizes are paid out in administrative costs. State lawmakers direct how lottery money is spent for each school system.
I love those people.
I do too. So excited.
Really so the first guy said we need to interview him again because he's going to win. Is that what he said?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, all right.
Chad always says, what are the odds? 302.
1 in 302 million, yeah.
So even if you bought 302 million tickets, right, you still can lose.
Right, because if you think about it, each ticket is $2, right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's right. We'd have to double that, wouldn't you?
Right, but I mean, still, I mean, you would.
But the quick pick, you may get the same pick again. You don't know. You could still lose. Because I always thought to myself, what if I had $600 million? I'd buy all those tickets. I'm going to win.
But listen, it's okay because if our viewers are watching right now, I have brought luck with my money green dress on. So if you're watching and you're playing in the lottery, you might.
Right.
Hey.
The other day.
I brought luck.
Hunter Funk and I were anchoring up here, and as she was reading a story about it, said the winning ticket was sold in sheets on New Garden, and as she read it, she grabbed my arm, and I was like, what? And when we came out, she goes, that's where I bought my ticket. And she thought she had won $100,000 or whatever it was, $10,000. She did not.
Aww.
Going back to what you were saying, though, we did a story the last time that this, lottery fever had taken over, and I think it's almost impossible to buy that many tickets within the amount of time allotted to buy tickets.
Interesting.
If you were to go and buy every combination of tickets, there aren't enough. It was like truckloads worth of tickets to get 302 million tickets. So it's not physically possible to get them all.
That's interesting.
In the allotted time.
Yeah, only Bill Gates could do that anyway.
Right.
All right, let's talk about our forecast. We can tell you the numbers there are pretty good for us, especially if you're talking about temperatures into the lower 80s, low to mid 80s across the area. But look at in the higher elevations, our humidity levels are so low, it's allowing our mountain communities to get that just wonderful, almost like a little dose of fall, right? I mean, Boone's at 69, Jefferson and Ashe County at 67. It's beautiful up that way. 84 in High Point, Greensboro 83, Winston-Salem 84, Asheboro 85. All right, I want to show you some overnight lows tonight. Speaking of that, let's look to the mountains, because how about that? 59 in Galax and 58 for Boone. But even our temperatures close to home, not bad. Low to mid 60s for just about everybody except in the extreme southern parts of the Piedmont. Troy, Montgomery County, they may see some upper 60s. But we'll go with 64 tonight as an average, partly cloudy, comfortable. Tomorrow, I think fewer clouds, lots of sunshine, and we look for 87 degrees. Here are some of the clouds that we mentioned. When we go out to a wider shot, you can see that a little bit more clearly. All the rain we think is going to stay south of the Triad. High pressure is pushing that down. So we end up with a pretty good 7-day outlook. 87 tomorrow, then 84 on Thursday with a better chance of late day storms, maybe even a morning shower. And then we hover right where we're supposed to be. Normal high this time of the year is in the upper 80s. That's where we are. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, normal late day shower chance.
For the third time this year, Burlington Animal Services is at capacity. Every kennel is full and they are only taking in animals in emergency situations. But WFMY News 2's Manning Franks found out a solution could be on the horizon.
August is Clear the Shelters month, and Burlington Animal Services is waiving all adoption fees in hopes more pets will find forever homes. And it couldn't come at a more needed time.
Yesterday morning, there was not a single open kennel for a dog here.
For the third time this year, Burlington Animal Services has reached capacity.
This is a critical point right now, and so this is why we are calling on the community to please help us. And by that, we need adoptions and we need fosters.
An increase in the summer months is nothing new, but this year Laura Michael has seen an influx in animals, and in particular dogs, that are being surrendered to their organization.
We're always a reflection of what's going on in the world and what's going on in the economy. And as we all know, the past year has been tough. It's been hard for a lot of people. Some people, they may have either lost employment or had to move, or many different things. I mean, there's always different reasons why someone has to give up a pet.
However, the Burlington community is finding ways to help in any way they can.
We decided to do half off of our pet fees for the month of August for anybody that adopts an animal from a local animal shelter or rescue organization to help the cause.
For a second year in a row, a local apartment complex retreat at the park wanted to heed the call during this month to help clear the shelter here in Burlington.
I personally fostered for Burlington Animal Shelter for years. We do supply drives where we donate all kinds of needed supplies and monetary funds to the shelter to help with, adoptions. And so this was something that just was a no-brainer for me.
Whatever the incentive may be, Michael is still optimistic that while they may be at capacity right now, the community will still have their back.
We've weathered this in the past and we're going to get through it now. We are committed to doing so, and we just need the help of our wonderful community.
Well, it breaks my heart to hear that they're at capacity, again. I mean, I remember doing this story a few months ago with the same situation, and I remember talking to a little boy and his dad who were there to adopt the dog, and they were talking about how, it breaks their heart too, but they're like, hopefully, we could be a part of, the change, but it breaks my heart to see that.
Yeah, and it's they have a policy because they will not euthanize any dogs if they are at capacity. They will not take any more in unless it's an emergency, but they will not euthanize any dogs. That's their policy since 2016, I believe. Which okay.
Wow, and because there are a lot of no-kill shelters out there,
right.
But there are also a lot of kill shelters out there too. So when they get to the point where they just have too many, since they're not euthanizing, they'll just stop intake.
They just stop intake unless it's again for emergency situations like that. But yeah, at this time they just can't take any more, and it just kind of shows you, as she was saying in the interview, like it's just the mentality that has changed because people, again, in the economy, they just can't afford a pet, which is really sad.
All right, Manning, thank you. All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, President Biden signed a proclamation today establishing nearly 1 million acres of land around the Grand Canyon as its own national monument. Leaders say it'll protect the ancestral land that several Native American tribes consider sacred. This is Biden's 5th monument designation.
And federal prosecutors want to limit what former President Donald Trump or his lawyers can publicly release when it comes to the evidence in the January 6th case. In court, Trump's legal team argued that the prosecutors' proposed protective order is too broad and would restrict his First Amendment rights. Special counsel Jack Smith fired back, urging the judge to reject the Trump defense's proposed changes.
The last former Minneapolis police officer has been sentenced in the killing of George Floyd. A judge sentenced Tu Tao to nearly 5 years in prison for aiding and abetting manslaughter in Floyd's death. At the sentencing, the former officer defended his actions, saying he didn't do anything wrong. The judge imposed a harsher sentence than prosecutors requested, saying he'd hoped Tu would have shown more remorse.
For the first time, there's a pill for those struggling with severe postpartum depression. The FDA has approved the pill for women dealing with the diagnosis. Clinical trial data shows it eases depression in a few days, faster than other antidepressants. It's expected to be available later this fall. If you or someone you know are struggling with depression, help is available. You can reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988.
As student loan borrowers prepare to start repaying their loans again, nearly half say they're just not ready. In a recent survey, 46% say they're not financially prepared to resume payments. Others said they were unaware repayments were even restarting. To help, the Biden administration says it's working on 2 plans to assist borrowers.
Artificial intelligence, or AI, it's probably one of the most heavily discussed topics of the year. While on one hand, it gives people the opportunity to make their lives easier, it also creates fears about job destruction, workers' rights. But as these technological advances move forward, the main question is, will it be a blessing or a curse? History may be able to offer us a few clues.
A certain amount of fear is justified. I don't think we're facing the robot apocalypse, the Terminator scenario.
Take the medieval plough. If advances in the tool didn't lift Europe's peasants out of poverty, it was largely because their rulers took the wealth generated by the new gains in output and used it to build cathedrals instead. Economists say something similar could happen with artificial intelligence if it enters our lives in such a way that the benefits are enjoyed by the few, not the many.
AI definitely has the potential to increase inequality.
Simon Johnson is a professor of global economics and management at MIT Sloan School of Management.
It may benefit other people also, but that could also take a really long time. So a lot of times technological transformations eventually do help a lot of people, but eventually might be 100 years or even more. So I think the question with AI is, how quickly can you share the benefits?
Backers of AI predict a productivity leap that will generate wealth and improve living standards. Consultancy McKinsey estimates that it could add between $14 trillion and $22 trillion of value annually. That higher figure being roughly the current size of the US economy. Some techno-optimists go further, suggesting that, along with robots, AI is the technology that will finally free humanity from humdrum tasks and launch us into lives of more creativity and leisure.
Based on the technology of
Yet worries abound about its impact on livelihoods, including its potential to destroy jobs in all kinds of sectors. Witness the strike by Hollywood actors who fear being made redundant by their AI-generated doubles. 31-year-old Belle works in property.
I guess the people who've created it are worried about what they've created.
Such concerns are not unfounded. Innovation, it turns out, is the easy bit. Harder is making it work for everyone.
That's scary and creepy. So I asked you on Facebook, what would you want to use AI for and why? Swole, love the name, said nothing. I've seen those Terminator movies. Nothing for me. Andrew said researching cures for cancer, AIDS, MS, etc. That's a good one. Angie says medical advancement for sure, not day-to-day activities to make humans even more lazy than they already are. Candy said all of the cleaning in my home, especially the bathrooms. And Tim Buckley said he wants an AI assistant to help him fold his laundry. I agree with that. I hate folding laundry.
Yeah, the AI robot people.
Creepy.
I don't know what to really call them, but wow, one of them looked super, super real with the short black hair. I was like, I had to do a double take, and I was like, is that a real person?
I could only because the movements were a little jerky could I tell. Otherwise, there were a couple that I'm not sure, especially that one. I'm not sure I would have known until they had the jerky motion.
I mean, it's really it's gonna get to the point where we don't know that we're talking to like robots, right?
Maybe. Especially on the phone.
You think so?
Like when you're at the store, look, you were saying about how real they kind of look. Well, think about the advancements. It will continue to get better.
Okay.
Can you imagine though, you would walk up, if the motion is real fluid, right? And their speech and lips and all that. But can you imagine going, excuse me, are you AI? And then he would go, yes, I am. And then how can I help?
Pull his arm off to show you that he's a robot.
I would hope not.
Can you imagine children seeing that? That would be horrific.
Goodness.
Well, we'll see. We got a long way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, before we go to break today, there's some sad news related to a popular song that you have heard plenty of times. The creator of the Cha-Cha Slide has died. Willie Perry Jr. was 58 years old. A Chicago TV station said he'd been battling cancer for 7 years. Perry's famous song came out in the year 2000 and is still popular at weddings, birthdays, really any celebration. We'll be right back.
Hello, friends. You're trying to be AI, but you just sound like Brad, just slow. You funny. You funny, Brad Lowry. It is National Dollar Day. What makes it that? Well, on this day in 1786, the U.S. Congress established our monetary system. So I thought, hey, let's take a look at the dollar. So here we go. The federal government issued the first $1 legal tender note, is what it was called, in 1862. Secretary of the Treasury Salmon Chase was on it. And then in 1869, a series of U.S. notes featured the first uses of George Washington's portrait, but it's not called a dollar just yet. So you got to check this out. In 1918, the Federal Reserve issued 500, 1,000, 5,000, and $10,000 denominations of dollar bills. It's crazy. Most of us have never seen any of these. And if you did see one, you would think that it was not real. They stopped being issued in 1969. I can't even imagine seeing a $1,000 bill.
Like you see like the funny money, right?
Yes.
Like you can buy like $1,000 bill or $10,000 bill. I'd probably just throw it out.
Like you'd be like, this does not exist.
Faces on that, like how do you get better than the faces that are already on?
Well, Alexander Hamilton was on the 10,000.
Really? Oh, interesting.
That's so, and you know, with the whole Hamilton thing, and he set up the Treasury and all that jazz. All right, so let me ask you, do you have cash in your wallet right now?
So I don't have my wallet with me. Very strange you ask, because I have a $5 bill and I never have cash.
Okay,
Look at you.
Look at you. You got
$7.
$7.
$7.
Nice. Sydney,
I do not today, today, but I sometimes do.
I do not carry it, rarely.
I usually have an emergency 20.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Stuffed somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a good
The
idea.
estimated lifespan of a $1 bill How long do you think it is?
Oh my gosh, I've seen some bad ones out there.
Like 5 years?
No,
it's gotta be
actually,
longer than
it's
that.
5.8 years.
Oh,
yes.
very good.
5.8 years, where a $100 bill has a lifespan of 15 years. Obviously, a big difference, right? And how often they actually change hands. I mean, how often do you see a $100 bill?
Not very often.
Not often. All right. Let's
I
look
wish
at
I saw them more.
Yeah,
Didn't you?
I like Benji. Benji's my buddy.
Remember your aunt would always send you like the $2 bill?
Yes,
$2
yes, the $2 bill
one.
for Christmas or
And they're
something.
always so crisp because they've never been
From
used
the bank.
before.
I was
Go
like,
get 'em.
I'm all that because I got the $2
$2
bill. What do you
Right.
have? $1? Oh.
I have a buffalo nickel, or like remember the
Oh, you
$1
do? Yeah.
coins?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would say in response.
That's right.
All right, let's look at the back of that dollar bill because maybe there's some things you didn't know about it. This is what they call the Great Seal. On the left, the unfinished pyramid. On the right, the eagle. So let's look at that pyramid. From the top down, the floating eye is called the Eye of Providence, and it symbolizes the idea of divine providence. 13 steps for the 13 colonies, states in that pyramid, and then the Roman numerals at the bottom stand for 1776. The eagle has a constellation overhead with 13 stars, again, you know, colonies and states. The eagle is looking towards the olive branch for peace. It has 13 leaves on that olive branch. There are 13 arrows in its right talon. The shield has 13 stripes. Lots of 13s, people.
Yeah.
I think that might be a lucky number, so maybe you should play that tonight on the lottery. I'm just saying. Happy Dollar Day. May a lot of those dollars come to you.
According to the Society for Human Resource Management, 62% of employers offer options to work remotely. This can lead to fewer hours worked or less work accomplished in the hours put in. But apparently it's creating a happier workforce. Experts say the American workforce is shifting towards valuing living life over working more. In a survey conducted by researchers on worker satisfaction, employees said they value a work-life balance, performance and review processes, compensation, and benefits plus job training. I will say kind of, right after, with the pandemic and the heightness of it, I did see a lot of people have a new kind of renewed spirit of, life is very short. I got to get out. I need to travel more, whatever the case they can do that they weren't doing, beforehand. So
I will say if the American workforce gets too lazy, then we're going to turn over control of everything to other countries that aren't afraid to work harder. But I get the work-life balance. You just have to still be at the job,
Right, and I think that it really all comes down to also how well you do your job in a work-life balance. I mean, I could, if I didn't do this job well, I would never have a home life. Right, but because I'm good at prioritizing, in my opinion, I think that it helps that I'm able to make that work-life balance.
Yeah.
I'll let you have my 4 kids for about a week. We'll see how the work-life balance goes then. It's called work-work balance. It's a new thing. Actually, it's an old thing. All right, let's talk about our forecast and what's going on out there. Yeah, a lot going on at the Chilton household, that's for sure. Mostly trying to keep them all fed. Here's what we see with cloud cover across the area, and a little bit of that tonight, so don't expect major cloud cover, but we will see some of that. High pressure, though, as we head into tomorrow, it looks just beautiful. 7-day forecast, I mean, this is nice. Sunny, 87 tomorrow. Best rain chances Thursday afternoon, a high of 84, and then we lock in 88 to 90 all the way through your weekend. Oh, mic check from the bowels of the station. Check 1, 2.
Hi there, wave through September 30th until September.
Vowels, huh? Is it that transcending colon? Is the sigmoid colon?
So I wanted to ask, I don't hear anything in my ear. Oh, okay.
Is your FB on?
Yes, but I don't hear.
I hear you in mine.
Okay.
Called milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Mic check, the park. Thank you.
Okay, you good?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Test, 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 1, 2, 3.
The Alamance Burlington school system is facing major concerns just weeks before the new school year begins.
Another school is dealing with mold growth, and an assistant middle school principal is charged with a sex crime. Deputies arrested James Kelly, accused of inappropriate acts